You asked for it. You've begged for it. And now it's here. The album of the century. Sean Connery's greatest hits.
Sitting on the dock of the bay, watching my hair falling away. Wait, that's a bald joke.
Yes, the acting legend's personal favorite, sung straight from the, heart.
Hot child in the shitty. You're running wild and looking pretty. Oh, hello.
Sean Connery. If you like his movies, you'll love his singing.
I want to wake up in the shitty that doesn't sleep. Wake up, you bastard!
Sean Connery's greatest hits. The sexy Scot at his very best.
Hello, Sean Connery here. Don't just shit there. Order my greatest shits. Hot in the shitty. Hot in the shitty tonight. Open the goddamn window already.
Sean Connery's greatest hits. From Haggis Records. Available now.
Hello, and welcome to Blackdog number 169.
Woo, it's got 69 in the title.
69.
69. You go one end and I'll go the other.
Yes. One in the pink, one in the stink. I think you know what I'm saying.
I think so. You know, I'm like an old car. You have to work me with your hand first and then jump on while I'm going.
Give me a good crank. I'm titling this. I'm titling this "In Space Nobody Can Hear You Scream" because it's got a lot of S's.
It certainly has.
And shit.
And shit.
And welcome to the Sean Connery impersonation podcast.
In which we shall be talking all the way
Mainly,
through.
yes.
Like
We
this,
shall...
mumbling like some bountiful guns.
Bitches need to slap.
Yes.
I'm Lee.
I'm Darren.
I'm
I may be talking like a pirate halfway through. I don't know. I might change my mind.
I'm in denial. This week, we will be doing some chat, some news, some shitty superheroes, some Jim Moon's Profanosaurus, and then we shall be spitting shit all over Outland. With some of your feedback. So let's get started.
Yeah, let's do that before I forget why I'm here. I'm getting on now.
Before the tax man finds me.
I'll be 262 in about 3 minutes. Anyway,
how was your weekend?
Oh, that's better. I've got it out of my throat now. Yeah, it's all right. It's good. Went and did lots of work, but apart from that, went to see Elysium,
aka Halo meets Mass Effect meets District 9.
I wouldn't call it Halo at all.
Well,
really.
just for the look.
It's a very, very pretty film.
Yes.
Very, very pretty film.
Yes.
It's eye-wateringly pretty.
Yes.
I mean, it's the sort of thing you can only expect with a Neil Blomkamp film.
Yes.
Story-wise, yeah, all right, not bad. I enjoyed it. I sat there and got a bit of a good time out of it.
Bit of a kick out of it.
Yeah, Matt Damon doing his usual, I mean, what we now class as usual action thing for him.
Yes.
You know, and I mean, you could see what's a bloke's face? Shelto.
Oh,
Shelto
Copley?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. I mean,
Yes,
you could see him putting the bib around his neck and getting the knife and fork out, eyeing the scenery with a, sort of like mouth-watering glare there.
Nice.
He is very much a scenery-chewing
Yes.
bad guy, and he just goes into total sort of very broad South African as well. And he really, really goes for it as well. And it's kind of like you have to struggle sometimes to hear what he's saying.
Is he going to get your last man?
He's going to do more than that. I'll tell you that now. The arse is involved.
Yes.
But,
usually ripping a limb off.
Indeed. So, it's not as... I wouldn't say it's as generic as maybe Oblivion. And, I still thought Oblivion was all right. I still felt entertained by it. Another very pretty film.
Yeah.
Things are a bit shit on planet Earth.
Yes.
When this begins, there's just nothing is right. Everything's all run down and torn up and whatever. And yes, of course, for anybody who doesn't know the story of Elysium, it's basically Matt Damon trying to make things better for everybody
by going up and kicking Shamash.
Yes.
Sorry,
no,
we're slipping into Sean already.
Yeah. Although. When the reason why he goes, I mean, there is a reason why he does actually have to go up there.
Yes.
I won't say why.
Good. I've had my fair share of spoilage this week.
Yes, you have. Yes.
Yes.
So he does. There is a driving reason why he has to go up there, but coupled with that, there are people, or there is a person who will facilitate that for him, but wants him to do a certain job to get there.
Right.
And that's when it all kind of spirals outwards and things take a bit of a turn, and it's not as smooth as he originally thought it was going to be.
Right.
It's not just a simple job. It's like it goes a bit pear-shaped, and then all of a sudden it's, what do I do now?
Right. Okay.
Well. But what can I say about? And I can't really say anything about it because you've not seen it yourself.
No. Okay. Well, I tell you what. Just cut to the chase. Is it worth a cinema view, or is it worth just waiting for it on DVD?
I think if you've got, if you want to go and see something, the film you want to see is like maybe they've sold out of tickets, and you still want to go to the cinema. I'd say go and see it.
Right.
I think you'll be sufficiently entertained.
Right.
You might get a bit annoyed with the cameraman trying out all the different settings on his camera, though, because there's like shaky cam. I think we all know is like it's used in quite a lot of films, right? But you've got shaky cam in this. You've got I've stuck the camera on a piece of wire to the back of Matt Damon's head, and I'm just going to carry on filming as he's running. So everything around his head is moving as he's running, but the head's staying completely still in the middle of the screen.
You mean like the Peep Show effect?
Yeah, and then it's sort of like it does that, and then it's like you can literally hear the thought pattern in the director of photography going, "Oh no, that was a bit wrong, but we'll keep it in there anyway. I've spent so much money doing this bit,
And the scream you can hear is all the people having to track that footage to put the 3D
exactly.
in.
Yes, yeah,
yeah.
As with one of Neil's films, the CG is almost it's seamless. I mean, I think we've seen it in things like District 9, stuff like that. More so, I think, even in the more of the web work that he's done in his time. Things like the Halo advert. If you were impressed by some of the Halo stuff,
I'm just adjusting my microphone in case anyone's wondering because it's starting to fall over. Carry on.
If you're impressed by some of the Halo work that he did for the sort of like the little shorts, there's one in particular where you've got like what looks like Dartford shipyard, but floating above it is one of the big military ships that they use in Halo, and it just sits in the scene. The movement on some of the droids in there as well is just spotless. They just move very fluidly.
That's actually motion capture. That's actually people running around.
It's done really well, though. That's the thing. It's you can see the fluid movement. They've whatever sort of method he uses to do that tracking, it's a lot better than some people's.
Yeah, it's the same system that was used on Davy Jones on the Pirates of the Caribbean. It's these grey suits with the tracking markers around facial features and around the head. They can be done in the set. Yeah,
I think the reason it works better in this film is because they're not organic objects that you're doing this with. I mean, they're machines, so really it just looks natural, and it looks a spookily kind of fluid. It's like, you can tell this is like slightly in the future because the machinery moves a lot better than it would do if we'd made the same sort of thing now. It's that sort of, the sort of jerky movements they've got. No, this is it's very well done.
Cool.
So yeah, I'd say go and see it.
Cool.
It's not. I don't think you'd be disappointed in it. You just might be pissed off with the shaky camera angles. I mean, sometimes it does seem as though they've called up Michael Bay and gone, so like, Michael, we've got this scene with these two people fighting one another. If you were going to shoot this scene, what would you do? And it'd be like, well, I'll tell you what, Neil, what you do is you get one of those proctology cameras and you stick it right up their asses. Because that's how close you want to fucking be.
So stick it on a clothes dryer
exactly.
and spin it.
So you are seeing right up their anal passage. That's how close the camera gets on some of these scenes. So,
right,
which is a real shame because with the work that they've done on it, you really need the camera to be pulled back so you can appreciate the whole fight going on.
That's the problem. If you could actually see it, you probably wouldn't enjoy it as much.
I think you would.
Okay, I'm being devil's advocate. I haven't seen it, obviously.
There are some very impressive weaponry effects in this as well. There's a rail gun that is used in it, and you see it used to great effect as well.
Is it as good as the pig throwing weapon from District 9?
I'd say better because
kill a man with a pig.
You there is a scene, of course. You know there's going to be fighting in it. You know that know they're going to come up against like the droid security force, and there is a railgun used, or what I think. No, actually, it's not a railgun. It's a special kind of shell that explodes about 5 inches away from the target and then splits into like 1,000 ball bearings and stuff. It's like that, yeah. But what it does is it locks onto the target so it knows where they are, and you just see it. There's one. It takes a robot apart bit by bit, and I'm not talking like arms and legs. I'm talking about shreds it, and you see it. It slows it down. You just see the whole thing getting taken apart, and it's just really nice. But yeah, the railgun very impressive weapon. I must admit.
Don't say any more.
No, I'm not going to say how it's used. Cool. But as I say, weapon effects. You will sit there going, "Ooh!" like that. It's one of them sort of things. It doesn't pull its punches.
No, I was going to say District 9 didn't really, did it?
No, this one takes it a step further, and you do get to see sort of the effects of stuff that you wouldn't normally see in a film.
Okay.
And I can't even say any more.
Don't say any more. Don't say any more.
But if you see it, I'll tell you the bit that made me laugh. Anyway,
okay, we'll talk about it when we see it.
Yes.
Anything else?
Anything else?
Have you been doing anything else? I'll say there's a no.
No. Apart from going out for a drink on Friday, of course, with yourself.
Friday?
Thursday, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, with you and
Herc. And Laura.
Of course.
Was good.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a good night, actually.
That was, because we had a little visit from someone, didn't we? Not that they came up.
No.
They had you frozen to the table,
Kowtowed. I was indeed. I've got to be honest, yeah.
You were awed.
I was awed. Because I don't want to... Because it's like, okay... No, we've... oh, God, okay. We've got to go through this again. Son of a bitch. Basically... You've heard a lot of Mel Smith moments of the week. God rest his soul. And all that. And mainly, it's because I don't hold the people in question in much of a sort of esteem. And when I do, I usually make a complete buffoon of myself, like with Patrick Stewart, like with John Goodman.
Yes. Hey, John, I love you.
Ding. or Patrick Stewart, would you like a drink? You're Captain Picard, you are. No, I just gibbered. I actually just gibbered like a complete buffoon. Anyway, but then there's others who I don't. Like when we went to that party with all the comedy glitterati where you were frozen stock still.
No, I just didn't want to speak to anybody. It was like, this is a fucking this is a landmine. This is a minefield. Yeah. Just waiting for me to trip over and just blow myself apart. And that's it.
Exactly. Well, this happened with me, you see, because basically we were sitting there and it was the start of Fright Fest, wasn't it?
That's right. Fright
Fest had just premiered. Don't give me that fucking look. I'm gonna own up to it. Whereas I'm not gonna sit there, no, I didn't do that. And basically lots of people wandering about, lots of people coming in from different magazines had just come out and they'd just seen, I think it was the premiere of The Dead 2. I can't remember what was being premiered. It was something being premiered anyway. So they were all coming out. And then who walked in was Mark Kermode. And I've got to say, as I've said, I think I've said a couple of times on the group, Facebook group, I don't always agree with him. I don't always agree with his opinions on things, but I don't think he's very pretentious, despite what certain people in the group might think. Anyway, the thing is, what I do is I do respect him, and I think he's like a very clever man, and I really have a lot of sort of time for listening to what he has to say. The problem is, when he's standing behind you, you're 3 sheets to the wind, and your 3 friends are looking at you going, go on, go and say hello to him, go and say hello to him.
He's behind you, Lee.
He's right behind you, go say hello to him, go say hello to him. While he's surrounded by a retinue of people who are obviously people he works with a lot. So you don't really want to stomp into the middle of a group of people and just go, oh, hello. It's like, what kind of cunt would I look like? Really, seriously. But you three are all like, go on now, go have word with him. Go on, he's right behind you. Ooh.
Go on, go and say to him, I dare you to walk up to him and say,
Twilight
The Exorcist
was
is a big load of shit.
Oh, yeah.
Big pile of shit.
Big pile of shit. But the thing is, it's like, and then what happened was I held off. I didn't say it. I spent a whole evening basically getting browbeaten by all three of you. Except for except for a small interlude where you and Herc managed to spoil an entire film.
Oh, look, here we go. Look, no, don't try and draw it away from us. From
anyway,
you, sir.
And then what happened was he walked out, and as he walked out, someone else who had clearly clocked him decided to go up and actually...
He'd been hovering, that bloke.
Yeah, exactly, hovering, and we all noticed him. And then what happened was he went up and he went to have a word with this guy, Mark Kermode, and what did he get? He got the blow-off, didn't he? He got the, oh, thanks very much, yeah, cheers, I've got to go, bye-bye.
Well, he said to him, oh, it's you. That's all it... And I thought, well, that's either, oh, it's you, you've sent something in, or, I recognise your post from a thing, or it's, oh, it's you, what are you doing within 5 foot of me? I thought the restraining order had kicked in last night.
Yeah. Exactly. And that was my point. What happened? He got blown off, he got given the bum's rush, and the guy and Mark Kermode couldn't get out of there fast enough.
Well, he was actually leaving at the time anyway, so I mean, really,
my point still stands. My point still stands. He wasn't up for talking, he was up for going out with his mates, and he didn't want some gimboid coming up to him and going, oh, hello. And I wasn't exactly 100% compos mentis, having drunk quite a bit of booze by that point.
Yes.
So me walking up to him and trying to have some intellectual discussion about the merits of, I don't know, fucking 3D and 30% light loss or some bollocks like that would not have gone down well, because he wanted to go home or go out or do something or talk about this film, and I'm standing there like a gibbering idiot while you three giggled on. No thanks. That didn't exactly fill me with a grand amount of confidence.
I was sitting there thinking, think of the listeners.
Fuck the listeners.
Think of the listeners.
I mean, in fairness, oh God, this fucking microphone's doing me nothing.
I mean, you've literally nailed your knackers to the floor for these people.
I have.
In the name of entertainment.
I have, and
you
I
could have
think
gone
that's
just
enough.
one step further.
I think that's enough.
Add Mark Kermode, nail your knackers to the floor.
Yeah, exactly. While you fucking three looked on and went, no, not really. I'm not a performing monkey. Thanks all the same. To quote Captain Picard, this line must not be crossed, this line here and no further. And so, I decided not to. I decided to have a little bit of dignity in front of someone I actually respected. So there. Up your arse.
Now you know how I feel every time somebody comes in that's off the television. It's like, what the fuck am I going to say to them?
Yeah, but
what the fuck do I do? Walk up to them and it's like,
there's a difference.
Just leave them alone and get on with it.
There's a difference between what the fuck am I going to say to them and they're standing there in a social situation looking at everyone in the same party room looking to have a conversation with people.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like, what do I talk about? It's like, I like your show. Cheers. And that's it. I fuck off after that. It's like, well, why bother?
Okay, so so there. I don't know. I mean, I think...
But this is what I'm saying. You know how I feel now. It's just, I get that all the time with
okay.
TV personalities.
You're insecure, that's fine.
No. Oh, don't start, sunshine. Fucking hell, fire.
Oh, you pulled it on me, mate. I'm just
saying you now the shoe is on the other foot. That is what I feel like every single time somebody comes in off the television I've seen. It's like, what the fuck do I say to them?
Well, they shouldn't really be coming in out of the television. That's a Japanese curse, to be honest.
It happens to me all the time, every Friday night. Watch the same video.
Fucking 7 days later.
Exactly, the entire cast.
Shit.
Fucking whatever reality
EastEnders.
TV show is big at the moment.
Only way is Gimboid. Or
the only way is Gimboid, yes.
Anyway, yeah. Apart from that, what else have I done? Oh, I went glamping. Which... actually was really good, and it was timed absolutely perfectly, as we will discuss in the news, because I missed a whole heap of shitstorm, which I'm really, really glad about. But anyway, ignoring that for a second, went out to Bedfordshire, to a farm that is, frankly, in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Axe-murderer territory.
Properly. I mean, seriously. But the farm was lovely. The people who owned the farm were lovely. They had a couple of kids, and the kids would do like little deliveries in the morning to your tent, and they'd drop like some croissants off and breads and all this kind of stuff, and you could order like little cakes and shit like this. Anyway, and we had a tent which was probably about as big as this room.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's more like a log cabin with a sort of tent, sort of tarpaulin thing over the top of it. And there was like 5 of them, and that was it. There was 5 of them, and they were all like a couple of 100 yards apart, and the rest of it was just like fields. And that was brilliant because what the kids could do is we could hire bikes, and the kids could just ride off and do whatever they liked. And they could just go running off, a little bit of independence for them. There was nowhere they could go that would get them into trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, I know kids are capable of getting into trouble in a fucking padded room with no doors on it, but the fact is, there was a lower percentage of chance. And it was great. I sat down and I read an actual book. An actual book on actual paper. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Ian M. Banks' Hydrogen Sonata, which is a fantastic book.
Is that the last one he wrote before he died?
I think he's written he was in the process of writing one as he died, and I think he got it finished as he died, or just before he died. But this one is kind of poignant because, without giving too much away, there's a lot about, shall we say, moving on. But it's like an entire civilization is about to decide to just up sticks and fuck off. And it's like kind of what's happening to the entire galaxy around them, and all these other scavenger races that are going to move in when this race fucks off, and then the culture are kind of getting in the middle of it and trying to work out what's going on because something odd's going to possibly jeopardize what's called subliming. And subliming is like a big thing in the culture universe. Yeah, when basically if a race has been around for so long, there's like levels, and when you reach like level 8, which is kind of like some sort of technological superiority where you can live for thousands and thousands of years and all this kind of thing, then the race can just decide, you know what, had enough of this, and just basically sublime off into a completely different dimension and just like boil away and just do it deliberately. But an entire sort of race is about to do that, and it's going to destabilize the entire galaxy. But it's a whole thing of like seen on a galactic scale, and then there's a scene on a very personal scale where like all the governments of these different planets of this same race are all sort of like, let's go, we're going to sublime off. And there's all these people going, well, actually, I don't really feel like it. I've got stuff to do. And there's all these things like, like they've made it illegal to have kids because to sublime as a child is not a choice. It's something an adult needs to do. So it's like, don't have kids. So like this race has suddenly stagnated over the last sort of 150 years while they're leading up to this. So anyone else having kids is now immediately consigning themselves to staying behind and all this kind of thing. But then they'll effectively be the only members of their race in the entire universe. And there's all this kind of extra weird sort of level of kind of like, sort of going before your time, don't want to go. And it's kind of, now that you know what's happened to Banks himself, it's kind of got a little bit extra poignancy on it. It's a really good book, really, really good book. Wouldn't recommend reading it if you've never read a culture book before. Because there's an awful lot of stuff in there which kind of nods back to other things, including the ship names. The ship names are just fucking insane. But I can't explain the ships without going on for another 20 minutes. But anyway, so I read the book. What else? Well, apart from that, didn't really do an awful lot. I made handmade pizzas and handmade this, that, and the other, and all our light was all candlelight. We didn't have any electricity at all. There was no electricity. All our heat and energy was provided by wood, which we had to go and get.
Very nice.
Yeah, it was kind of right back to basics, and it was really weird because there was no power charge. There was nowhere to charge up the phones. So the phones after 12 hours were just dead. Even if I could get a signal out, which I couldn't. I was so far away from anywhere. So it was really weird. It was kind of nice just to cut yourself off from everything. So it was quite nice. And
I might do that for a week, actually.
I tell you, it was really... I tell you what, it was actually... It was kind of interesting because I came back from on Monday night. By the time we got back here, I sat down and I thought, I wonder what's going on Facebook. And I looked on Facebook, and within 5 fucking minutes, my blood pressure had gone from 0 to 100.
All that good work.
I just couldn't believe what has occurred over this last weekend. It
is ridiculous.
Brain-boggling. But obviously, that's something which we should include in the news. Nice link.
Yes.
Hey, we're gonna hear some news now.
Right, okay, so yes, we're on to the news now. What news could we start with other than the big one, which is someone's redesigned Lobo. Right. Now,
sorry, I am so sorry for posting. That's probably the first thing you came across. I did say you're not going to like this.
Fuck me. Now, okay, right, ladies and gentlemen, I know that some of you will not be comics fans, and some of you will not even know who Lobo the Last Zarnian is. However, just bear with me a moment. He is basically a joke send-up of Wolverine, okay? Imagine a heavy metal Wolverine. And essentially, he's a psychopath, unkillable. He is rude, loud, boisterous, just a complete deviant, and he killed off his entire planet just so he could feel unique. Okay, he's a joke character, was created by Keith Geffen and I can't remember the other one. I keep thinking John Wagner, but I'm not entirely sure about that.
Tim Beasley
and Simon Bisley. Simon Bisley did the most unique take on him. Anyway, long story short, is he looks like a sort of 80s, 90s metal cock rocker.
Basically, if you didn't know what Lemmy looked like and you heard Ace of Spades, you would think
he looked like
Lobo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But instead, what's happened? DC have reinvented him to look like Tom Daly.
He looks like something out of a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, he does.
It's like, fuck you, New 52.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
So New 52 can suck my dick, because I tell you what,
fuck that shit.
It's undermined the character. The look of the character is essentially the character. He is quite a shallow character, not very impressive as a sort of story plot. But if you want to read something that's just ultra violent, childish, and with a script that's got some one-liners that make you laugh, I mean, let's be honest. You know, he for the Christmas special, he fought Santa Claus and killed him.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Easter Bunny took a contract out on Santa.
Exactly. So it's not exactly what you'd call the most sensible of comics. And so if you're going to play that shit up. Don't turn him into a fucking CK1 model.
No.
Anyway, so
you shouldn't be doing that at all.
No.
Not at all.
So anyway, let's move on. Let's move on to the next piece of Geek Rage.
Let's do that.
Yeah. Which is, of course, the big news, which is that Todd McFarlane's doing another Spawn movie.
Is he?
Yeah.
Right. Won't have any girls in it then, will it?
No.
Because Angela's going to be a man now. Is that right? Because there's no place for women in comics, apparently.
Yeah. Apparently, he's quite. What a cock. Anyway, apparently he's quite adamant that he's got a big cast once they've actually worked out the screen.
So he's quite adamant he's got a big cock. It's like
yeah,
only the one set on top of his shoulders.
Yeah, on his forehead. But yeah, he keeps talking about all these different people who may or may not be cast as Dan Simmons,
as Don Simmons, the only Batman with no soul.
Yeah, exactly. But he keeps saying that Jamie Foxx wants to play the title character, but there's nothing confirmed. So, hey ho, let's just all just sit in a bunker and wait for the nuclear winter, which is Spawn 2, to arrive.
Yeah, let's do that.
In the meantime, next week we'll be reviewing Spawn.
That's great timing, that, isn't
great
it?
timing, yeah. Anyway, right, let's move on to the big news then, which is, of course, that Tomorrowland is started filming. And I was quite interested with this because
So
initially,
was I until I read something.
Yeah,
until
exactly.
I read one name.
See, because Tomorrowland is the next film to be directed by Mission Impossible and The Incredibles director Brad Bird. So I was quite looking forward to that, and it was like, it's starting production. It's all looking good. Principal photography has begun, and so Disney released a press release saying that Disney's mystery adventure Tomorrowland, starring two-time Academy Award winner George Clooney and Hugh Laurie, Britt Robinson and Raffi Cassidy, and Thomas Robinson. The film is directed and produced and co-written by Brad Bird. Right?
Sounds good so far.
Sounding good so far. Science fiction film.
Yeah.
Brad Bird, fairly good. So then it goes. Damon Lindelof.
That was it.
Yeah, Star Trek Into Darkness Prometheus. Right? And it's also not only being written by Lindelof, but it's also being written by Jeffrey Chernow. And guess who? Jeffrey Chernow. Don't know who he is? Oh no, his writing credits include Star Trek Into Darkness. So he was a co-writer with Lindelof on Star Trek Into Darkness. And they are also not only the writers, but they're also the producers.
Christ on a bike.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want any news on Tomorrowland, fucking go somewhere else, because I am not covering this movie, and I certainly won't be seeing it. There you go. That is my final word on the matter.
It's such that I was really kind of upsetting to read, that. It was all going so well.
Yeah. So anyway, moving on to the next big piece of news, which is
Big piece of shit.
Which is that Star Wars Episode 7 is about to start principal photography. And yes, apparently it's principal photography.
Yeah.
They say it's about to start, but then they actually look at the commencement date. It's apparently January the 21st, 2014. That's not what I'd call just about to start.
Yeah, I think
That's what I call about 4 months off.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, apparently this kind of ties into the fact that obviously that means that we won't be seeing Star Wars Episode 7 until Christmas 2015 by that schedule. Goes back to the previous... It was a callback to the previous week.
I would rather they take their time on it and just, get it right.
We'll see.
Refine it. Don't rush it.
We'll just see what happens. There's been a lot more pictures and spots of Alphonse Cuarón's stranded astronaut movie, Gravity. So many that I think I've seen the fucking film now.
You have?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, so there you go, ladies and gentlemen. More and more fucking trailers for Gravity. If you stitch them all together, you could end up with...
You'll have the whole film.
Yeah, the whole thing.
I've only seen one trailer.
There's
it was about
6,
30 seconds long.
There's 6 at the moment, and
Is
one's actually like 4 minutes long.
Oh, man.
I'm just getting sick of these fucking stupid long trailers.
Yeah.
I know I'm clicking on them, so I'm, doing the endorsing myself, but it's just like, oh, for God's sakes. So, there is some more quotes from Joss Whedon regarding Avengers Age of Ultron, saying that he's learnt a lot in the creation of the Avengers, and, basically he's now trying to apply everything he's learnt to the next film, which is all very PR lovely. Though he did turn around and controversially make a statement that he wasn't happy about the end of Empire Strikes Back, and said that as a film it was deeply unsatisfying.
Really?
Yeah, said it was a bit of a cheat. It wasn't a whole film.
But it was meant to be the middle section.
I don't know. It's comments like that suddenly reset my opinion of the man. Because it suddenly goes back to...
That's fine, whatever, man,
Anyway,
we liked it.
We liked it, thanks very much, fuck you. Anyway, next...
Where that's concerned, by the way, I was reading about the sort of direction the whole Avengers universe is heading in, and this, where they talked about the Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, apparently, Thanos will feature in the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, it has to. He has to.
Yeah, but not very much. Because they are slowly building Thanos up.
For Avengers 3, isn't it?
Well, we don't know, but all I've heard is they're working in their kind of... This is a slow burn for Thanos. And I really like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Get a couple... Maybe, who knows, Avengers 4. Suddenly, bang, it's
there
Thanos.
He is.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, another big piece of comic book news.
Yes.
Really big piece of comic book news, which we've all been talking about,
yes.
which is that Bradley Cooper's going to be the voice of Rocket Raccoon.
Is he?
It's pretty... Apparently, it's done deal.
He gets, like, the coolest role in the film. A raccoon with a fucking machine gun.
Ooga chaka, ooga chaka. Anyway, right. Well, let's get on to the other big news. Is that basically in an interview, Daniel Craig says that he hopes that the Skyfall follow-up will feature even more trademark humour, back to the basics, with James Bond 24. What do you think of that?
I don't think very much of that, actually. The whole reason my liking of James Bond was invigorated was because of the way that that James Bond, that the reboot for James Bond was going in, and it was the lack of gadgets, you know, or severe lack of gadgets, not total lack of gadgets, but severe lack of gadgets. It was James Bond as a character just surviving on his wits, doing, you know, just showing you, look, this is, I'm trained for this shit, and, well, this is my training coming into action, and being quite a force of nature.
Yeah.
Especially in the first one, when you see the difference between James Bond's methods and the bad guy. The bad guy is giving it all the parkour stuff, being all graceful, flying through holes, and there's James Bond running through the fucking walls. Yeah. You know, it's like they describe him as Judi Dench's character described him as a blunt instrument, and it shows it very much there. And it's like, you know, when he gets out of the water, you can see how big he is. It's like, yeah, you can break someone's neck. No problem. You see, you are a totally believable character. You're not some slim, you know, underbuilt bloke. You are, you know, you can see where the training's gone. And, you know, it's the thing in Skyfall that really started to kind of make me twitch a bit, was when they started doing some of the comments that were coming, some of the stuff that was being said, the whole thing about getting the Aston Martin, using the gadgets.
Yeah, but that was because it was the 50th anniversary. I mean, it's the same as what we're expecting with.
He wants more of it.
He wants more of it. Yeah.
I personally, I mean, you know, I'll see the film. I'll still go and watch it. I still like the James Bond films, but I would find it possibly a bit disappointing if they started drifting back to that camp old thing. I don't want to see that anymore. I've got 50 movies or 48 movies I can watch, or how many fucking James Bond films there were. How many? 23
to date. There's 24. The 24's in production.
So we're talking about, what, 21, 20 movies?
Yeah.
Of that kind of thing. I can go back and watch those any time I like. Let's just carry on the way we're going. Let's keep that sort of harder edge to James Bond.
Yeah, well, it's a Bond for this era, isn't it?
I think so, and I like the serious take on most of it. You know.
Yeah.
But there you go. But I still think Daniel Craig's a fantastic James Bond.
Yeah.
You know, without question.
Yeah, and he's getting better as he gets older. I think, personally. Right. Okay. Well. Apparently James Bond 24, currently untitled and with Sam Mendes at the helm again, will be kicking off in 2014, so it's all still...
So they're starting to film it in 2014?
Yes.
Right. 2015 sounds like it's going to be another
big
very
old
big year for
yeah.
movies, you know. Whether they're good or bad is another thing, but it's like this year, whether you've liked all of the movies, whether you've liked only a few of them, this year has been quite it's been big names coming out. Whether they've been any good, you know, is neither here nor there.
I think it's been a variable quality.
I think so. I think there's some real sort of underdogs that actually, you know, were better than the bigger productions. You know, I mean, some films, obviously, I mean, we really liked. I mean, Iron Man, you know.
Yes.
For more of the script than anything else, I would say, than the action. The action was a bit throwaway, but the interaction with the characters, beautiful. Wonderful stuff.
But But let's not waste any time talking about summer movies, because we've got to look forward to the next big movies. And obviously this is the news section, so we do have to cover the big stories. And of course, one of the biggest is that Tony Jaa is going to be in Fast and Furious 7.
Big news.
There you go.
If you're
of course, it's a big news.
Fast and Furious fan.
Yeah. Are we ever going to do Fast and Furious series?
Well, we'll have to. It's like Twilight.
No, are we actually going to do it all in one? Are we actually going to do that?
Well, I don't know about all in one, but do you know what? This raises actually a point, really, about. I know this is the news section, but as far as I'm concerned, this is.
Would you like a small step to stand?
Yes,
on?
I would like.
I can sense an orange box on its way.
Now there's a lot of people screaming at the moment that if you don't like it, don't go watch it.
Yes.
Right now, this is all well and good.
Yeah,
but.
You
can't. It's the whole thing. I mean, we've had this before, and this is why we watched Twilight. Yeah. We've slagged off Twilight in the past without watching it, and we went and watched it, and we still slagged off it, but we were qualified to do so. My whole point with this is really saying to people, if you don't like it, don't go and see it, and then saying to them they still think it's crap, saying, well, you can't say anything because you never went to see it. Well, you've told them you can't go and see it, therefore. I don't know. It's that whole thing of. Are
you referring to the fact you're in it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? If you go and see it, then you can make the informed choice.
Plus, also whether you like it or not, whether they're going to bleat on afterwards saying, "Oh, well, I knew it was going to be good all the time," by stopping them from going, you're actually damaging that film's success by saying to people, "You don't like it, don't go and watch it." Let the fuckers go and watch it, because if it's a film you really like, you want a sequel, and these twats are going to fund it. So
Yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, this might lead on to some small story we're going to cover in a minute, but I mean,
I like your wording. That's very good. Yes,
but no. The thing is
that about Toy 6 or something?
I don't know.
It's Toy Story 6.
It's right at the bottom of my list. I think it's something to do with an unofficial Doctor Who spin-off film.
Oh, right. Okay.
Anyway, but the thing is, right, with all of this kind of stuff. When you're talking about endorsing films that you don't like and all that kind of stuff, it's like there's two ways of looking at it. One, if you don't like what someone produces, and you don't like what someone produces, fine, you're making the informed choice not to watch that film. You obviously have to start from somewhere. So, with me, Damon Lindelof, I think I've given him a couple of bites of the cherry now.
You've given him a few bites of the cherry, yeah.
I tried to watch fucking Lost. I couldn't do it. Everyone else likes Lost, that's fine. Up to them. Personal opinion only. Then I gave him a fucking big chance with Prometheus. I gave him a massive, massive chance for that, and all he did was shit on my face.
Yep.
Then he shit on my favourite franchise. And then he stood up and basically bleated about the fact that people hadn't got a leg to stand on because they don't make anything.
Oh, well, that's fine then.
He's like, no. He's like, oh,
you can't
criticise it. You can't criticise it if you don't make anything.
What?
That was one of his comebacks in the end when he finally got to him about people not liking his film. Anyway, and even then, I gave him a chance with fucking Star Trek Into Darkness, and he provided, once again, a big steaming pile of badly written dog egg. Now, that's 3. 3 strikes, my friend. 3 strikes, and fuck
He's out the door now. He's gone.
Now, I feel...
Give him his bus fare.
Exactly. Now, I feel, in that situation... I feel entitled to turn around and say, you know what, fuck that guy and fuck all the stuff that he produces. Yeah. Unless there is some massive, overwhelming reason for me to go and see Tomorrowland. And unless everyone is raving about it, unless his involvement is so fucking minimal, it's unbelievable. And the fact that everyone tells me that one of the weakest parts of World War Z is the end, which just happens to be written by
Damon Lindelof.
Thank you.
Did he actually have an hand in that?
Yeah, he came in as a script doctor to rewrite the end.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, they script doctored it. They sent it to him to script doctor. He rewrote the end. That's how come we end up crashing in a convenient place.
What, right on the fucking...
Dip.
Right.
Now, I only know that because I read the wiki. But I had no intention of putting any more money in that cunt's coffers.
Well, after seeing the first World War Z now, going out and, giving it a chance, doing this thing,
Yeah.
I will never walk into a cinema and watch anything run by the same people called World War Z anything. That's it.
But anyway,
I'm out. That's it. One movie, I'm done.
So anyway, yes. So the thing is, I can understand if you're coming from that sort of position. Yes, you can criticise it. You can stand back. You can make a prediction. That's cool because I
suppose it's the venom that follows it. Really,
the venom that follows it is when it comes from a position of being unknown. That's what gets me. It's like, I fear change. I therefore do not like this. Then that's an untenable position. In my opinion, in an untenable position of criticism. You cannot criticise something if you, A, don't know how this is going to work out, A, how it's going to play out, and B, you have no real basis for hating any of the players in the game, if you know what I mean. And speaking of that, I suppose we should talk about, what is it now? What was that fucking story? Hold on, I'll find it in a minute. I'm sure it's somewhere. Eric Banner being the Hulk? I can't fucking find it. I don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
Eric Banner being the Hulk?
Yeah, he was talking about being the Hulk again, if you could.
Oh, right. Oh, that would be too confusing, I think, for some people's small brains.
Oh, yes, Ben Affleck apparently is going to be Batman.
In Mallrats too. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to be in Mallrats too. Bryan Cranston, by the way, I've scoured the internet.
Is it official?
No, it's not official. It's been apparently official according to Rolling Stone magazine. But if you read the Rolling Stone magazine article, it just says according to sources. The only other source, which the Daily Mail and Mirror and a couple other websites like Yahoo News and everything refer to, is Comic Book Movies. And comicbookmovies.com just says, according to sources, he's already up for it.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. So there's no confirmation, no official confirmation, because unlike the Ben Affleck announcement, Warner Brothers have said nothing.
Yeah.
So therefore,
Ben Affleck has said nothing.
Yes. And do you know what? More power to him at this point.
Yeah. I did actually go looking for it, because I've looked for a couple of things.
But that was the Warner Brothers announcement. That was actual official Warner Brothers announcement.
Yeah.
That he was going to play Batman. Now, okay, let's talk about this now. We've just laid out our stall. I think if you don't like Ben Affleck as an actor, that is fine. You can sit there and go, I don't think he's going to be good for the role because X, Y, Z. I don't like the way he acts. I don't like him as a personality. I don't think that's good enough. That's cool. You can do that. I think that is a valid criticism to make, because on your opinion, that's that. If, on the other hand, you've watched films like The Town, like Good Will Hunting, like Gone Baby Gone, and even, even to a lesser degree, Sum of All Fears and Argo, and you've seen that this guy can act.
Yeah.
You've seen that he can make good films as well as bad films, and don't show me there isn't a single actor alive who hasn't made a shit film. Really?
No, there isn't. No, everyone's had their...
So if you're pointing at bad films as a reason for him to be bad in a role that he's never played, then I find that kind of like, okay, fair enough, bit tenuous, but, go for it if that's how you feel. What I'm kind of railing against is what I've seen in the last... Like I say, in the last 40... What happened while I was away?
That's when somebody turns the twat up to 11 and you get the petition.
The cuntometer went through the roof.
Exactly.
And you know what? It's just like, how many times can we, as film fans, apparently, in inverted commas, do this stupid fucking fanboy merry-go-round?
This is the thing. There are a lot of people out there who are not like that. It's like in any society, you've got a small minority of troublemakers who catch everybody's attention, so it seems like there is a lot of
There's 70,000 votes on this petition.
70,000 is minuscule compared to how many people like movies. That's it. It's not everybody. It's just 70,000 twats, right?
Yeah.
Okay, compared to the 100 million that, you know, go and see movies throughout the world and stuff,
I know.
Who enjoy that. It's just because the media picks up on shit like this and it gives them a fucking voice. It puts it out there.
But the problem is the 70,000 voices on that.
It does create a generalisation. I must admit, today, the thing I went out on Facebook was like, maybe I'll leave the internet for a fucking week. You know, just go away from it. That's how I did feel today.
Yeah, because I tell you what, I mean, let's just give you an example. I mean, we know, roughly speaking, how many people listen to this cast, right? Mm-hmm. But that's a fraction of who are on the Facebook group. And if you're not on the Facebook group, go on the Facebook group. Yeah. But the thing is, 70,000 people, by that same measure, is a fraction of the people who are currently stamping their feet all over the fucking internet.
That's because they shout the loudest.
Yeah, and that's fine. But the thing is, it's like, what gets me, especially, is the level of fuckwittery and ignorance. And it's like, how many times do we have to do this thing? You know, Heath Ledger was the one I posted up. It's like, go back and find all the stuff on people hating on Heath Ledger, and then find those self-same retards who, let's be honest, the biggest example was this guy who spent like a month just absolutely ragging on Heath Ledger's decision, and then promptly got to see Dark Knight before anyone else, and then came out and heralded it as a masterpiece. And then Devin Faraci, I think, challenged him and said, a masterpiece? That's quite a strong word. Have you seen other masterpieces? Have you seen Citizen Kane? Have you seen Shawshank Redemption? Have you seen the Godfather trilogy? And the guy just went, no. And he's like, so how do you know it's a masterpiece? It could just be a good film by your measure. And you could also be rather excited that because you stamped your feet so much, Warner Brothers have called you in and turned you into their bitch by saying, look, there you go. And made you gone from the vocal, oh, we hate this, to the vocal, we love this. You know, and you've been manipulated. You're a fucking idiot. That's one, right? Then, let's just go back to our last story. Daniel fucking Craig. Do you remember the kickoff that when he turned up as James Bond? Oh, we can't have a blonde Bond. Oh, we can't have a old Bond. Look at him. He hasn't got the rugged looks of a Pierce Brosnan. Oh, you know, it's just like, he's too short. He's not 6'1". It's like, fuck off.
Didn't matter in the end.
It didn't matter in the end, and everyone fucking ate the words. X-Men First Class. Oh, well, you can't have it set in the 60s, you know, it just wouldn't do it, because you can't have that, because fucking, what is it? It's Mr. Sinister, and he's the same age as Scott Summers. You just simply can't have that. It's like, right, okay. And we listened to bitch after bitch after bitch about that. And what happened? Oh, it came out. Oh, everyone likes it. Oh, yes, it's the best X-Men ever. It's like, I think fuck off.
Where we were concerned, I mean, at least from my point of view, when they announced that, it's that, you know, it's the Star Trek Academy effect. Yeah. Which is like, oh, you're doing a thing at school. Why are you doing that? You know, it's
But we go back. Whatever. I mean, I listened back to a couple of our podcasts on that matter because I knew someone would pick us up on it.
Yeah.
And basically, it starts off with, why are you doing a prequel?
Yeah.
Which is a valid question to ask, I think. And it's like, why are you doing a prequel? Why is that happening? You know, we don't need a fucking prequel. What we need is a story. Anyway, that got proved wrong because it's a bloody good prequel. But the thing is, what it did was it was a prequel by dint of the fact it's the start of the X-Men. But on the other hand, it did what Star Trek, the first JJ one, did, which was eternally just turn around and go, okay, we've got the same characters, we're setting them in this thing, and it's not really a prequel, it's just the start, and it's going this direction.
Yeah.
So, yeah, fine, brilliant. I got proved wrong. But at the end of the day,
we actually, we
stood up for it.
We still note, you know, we actually did, you know, have reservations about this film in the first place as well.
Until we saw the first trailer. And then the first trailer, I was all over it.
No, this is what I'm saying. No, no. My point is, unlike some people who forget conveniently that they kind of, raged on a movie about it being this, about that, and suddenly they're like, oh yeah, this is the best thing since sliced bread. We always start, whenever we talk about this, as saying, you know what? When we first heard about this, we thought this was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Then we went to see it, but that's the thing. We acknowledge it.
Yeah. But we're also taking a view that, if you don't know these things, you can't fucking judge these things. You can't judge these things. At the end of the day, why do a prequel? What's Hollywood's obsession with the prequels? Fine. I think that is a valid criticism to make. There isn't many prequels I could name where I turn around and go, oh, that's a good idea.
Plus, also, if you do a prequel to an established, you go back, there's an element of danger which isn't there anymore because know the characters survive. They're coming back.
You know the end point.
Yeah,
exactly. So anyway,
where this is going.
Yeah. So anyway, going back to the Ben Affleck thing. I mean, I don't want to add my voice to the noise, to be honest. But what do you think?
What do I think? I must admit, I was like a lot of people, which was like Ben Affleck. It was such a whether you think he can act. I mean, it's.
I think he can act.
Oh no, he can, but it's just. It's such a left field decision. It's like who had him on their list of want to see his Batman? Nobody, right? I don't care what anybody says. This movie comes out in like a couple of years' time. You bet your life somebody's going to say, "Well, I always thought he'd be good as Batman." It's like fuck off, did you?
Yeah,
nobody,
like all those people who knew that Disney were buying Lucasfilm.
Exactly.
6 months
Nobody
after
saw
it
this
came out.
coming, apart from the people in the know.
Yeah,
right. That's it. Nobody did. And I must admit, it was kind of like he doesn't seem like a Batman to me.
No,
But then it's like, well, all right, fine. Let's see where they go with this. There have been people in roles that I didn't think suited the part, but have pleasantly surprised me with what they've done.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping beyond all hope that Ben Affleck actually does come up with the goods. And
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, I think I said it on the Facebook group. He's an actor who is as good as the director lets him be. You put him in front of a shit director, he will produce shit. If you put him in front of a good director, or if he's somehow directing himself and a script that he's already invested in, you'll get a different performance.
You certainly will.
And that, to me, is both a blessing and a curse, because Zack Snyder isn't really an actor's director. He wants to do the visuals. He wants to do the flash. He wants to do the whip bang and fucking slow-mo.
Well, there is talk.
But there's obviously Christopher Nolan involved and Jonathan Nolan.
Hold on. No. Christopher Nolan and his wife are not on the actual press release for this.
No, but they're on the they're still executive producers on it.
Are you sure
Yes,
about it?
They are still executive producers.
Their names are missing.
No, they're not. They're not producing it. They're executive producers. They get to basically rake a bit of cash in and put their name on the title.
Right.
From the creators of Dark Knight. That sort of thing.
Okay.
So...
Well, I've read some things about, what Ben Affleck may be getting out of this.
Yeah.
As a sort of trade-off, about getting...
7 movies from the sound of it.
Well, not only that, but also if he does this and he pulls it off, then he's basically Warner Brothers are in his debt for the rest of his life, basically.
Yeah.
Which means projects he wants to do,
and he's
done.
Potentially up for directing Justice League as well.
Exactly. Plus, also, there is maybe... Who knows? They may give him the Batman franchise to actually, the further films, to actually direct, and it's like, now that's an exciting prospect.
Because I think he's a better director than he is an actor.
Yeah, great. All I've got to say, all I require with this new Batman, right? I don't care who's playing it. Just please don't give him a throat infection. Okay, let's do something different with this. Now, I can see the logic in changing the character's voice, because it is the only thing that doesn't get disguised. And if you've got somebody who knows Bruce Wayne, they may all Batman and go think, hold on, that sounds like Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I've always said, why not just go for having a device in the suit voice synthesis or something like that. It changes the voice slightly, dulls it, without him having to sound like he's just about to hack up his fucking lungs.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Let's not have that. Let's have something else.
Yeah.
Let's try a different angle. Let's
Yeah,
add
I
another
don't
piece
think-
of technology
Personally,
to his
I don't
arsenal.
think you're going to avoid that myself. I don't think you will.
Fuck you, Michael Keaton. It all began with you and your fucking throat infection.
Yeah.
It wasn't Christian Bale. That's where it started. There.
Yeah. But the one thing I will say about it, I mean, and it caused me a little spiteful moment on the Facebook wall.
Yeah.
With the up and coming films. So we are going to be doing Elektra and we are going to be doing Daredevil.
We are.
Yes. But the fact of the matter is, I think, if you look at Daredevil and
I
say
think-
what you like about the film.
I think it will get a better review, much better review than Elektra, of course. But
Yes.
I think
But the fact is, I think if you look at Daredevil as a template, and I'm not talking about, no, it's not got to look like Daredevil. It doesn't have to have a fucking Evanescent soundtrack. None of that crap. Just stop your fanboy bleating. I'm just saying, look at how that film was presented and how it did the dark and gritty, and it did the fucking light and affable on the other side, and the dark and gritty on the one side. I think in a better director's hands, that film would have been a lot better. But I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it in a long time, so I'm going to have a look at the director's cut and all that sort of stuff.
because
We get to review it.
I'm from what I'm hearing good noises about the director's cut of it. I've
Yeah.
never seen the director's cut of Daredevil.
No. So
I've
we
only
will
seen
be.
the
That's what
original.
we will be reviewing after we've done our 5 weeks of horror. I know it's 5 weeks, by the way.
It is.
Yeah. Hey.
Where Daredevil's concerned, personally, the only thing I remember having a bit of a problem with was Colin Farrell
Yes.
in that, because it's kind of like you're
Hamming it up.
hamming it up.
Ham and peanuts.
Yeah, ham and penis. You've got to have a lot of mustard with that ham. But I mean, Michael Clarke Duncan was fantastic in it. You know,
But
Ben
again-
Affleck
but
again, he wasn't the worst thing about the film.
No, he wasn't. I think there's a lot of issues with the film, and we will discuss them when we get to it, and especially after I've seen the director's cut, which I've never seen before. But the one thing I will say, and it goes back to the original problem with this whole thing with him as Batman, Michael Clarke Duncan as the Kingpin. He's like, hold on. According to the comics, the Kingpin is a 12-foot wide white guy.
Well, I've got an answer for that,
No, I'm just saying.
and
And
it's down to pure kind of. Who
can
else
he
would-
act?
Yeah, who else would you have got to play that role? Michael Clarke Duncan was fucking perfect for that role.
And what was the other one? Idris Elba as Heimdall in Thor.
Yeah,
Can't have a black Heimdall. Really? Why not? And that's what I'm getting down to. What the problem here is, and what we've got, what we had with Daniel Craig, what we had with Heath Ledger, what we had with Henry Cavill, even what we had with because don't forget there was all this. Oh, an English guy playing Superman.
do you know what? First time I saw Henry Cavill, just the fact that they'd announced them, he'd show a picture of him from a film. He's not like built up or anything. I took one look at him and I thought, that's Superman.
Yeah.
Just the look of him, it was like, yeah, he fucking looks the role.
But this is the thing. It's like, if you don't know these people, you don't know what they're going to be like, you can only go on their visuals. And if you've got no other thing to base it on, then really, I mean, you can make a prediction, you can say things like that, but starting a fucking petition on the White House, what a cunt.
It's totally ridiculous. Maybe we should start a petition against, as somebody said, against petition makers.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, every
You
single
started
one
your
of these...
Lindelof one yet?
No, I don't need to. I think he's writing his own petition with every movie.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the thing that gets me with all of these things, with Idris Elba, with Michael Clarke Duncan as the Kingpin, with fucking Batfleck, whatever you want to call it. And by the way, can I just say right now, I don't know where it came from. I don't know who first came up with it, but the next person who writes, it was the bomb in Phantoms.
The thing. It was from Jay and Bob Strike Back.
I don't
He's
think-
in that as himself, and they're like, it's every couple of every couple of sort of like seconds, there's like somebody. Ben Affleck, he was the bomb in Phantoms, and he was really good in Phantoms. I thought he was.
But the thing is,
I'm sorry, I had to chuck that in there because there was all this like deep discussion going on. And it's like,
who's the bomb in Phantoms? To be quite honest, I didn't know where it came from. But after like the 47th fucking status update, it's just like, oh fucking hell, grow some originality, someone.
Yeah, it was the Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yeah, well, I kind of bailed out on Jay and Silent Bob by that point, but
so you didn't see Cockknocker?
I did see
Mark
Cockknocker.
Hamill was Cockknocker with the big hand.
I bailed. I was like, yeah, that's enough. Thanks very much. But as far as all of these actors and all these acting decisions and all these things and all these petitions and online bollocks, firstly, entitled fans. But secondly, I don't even call them fans anymore. They're just whiners. And why are they whining? Because they got fear of the unknown. That's it. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. I guarantee you, if you turn around tomorrow and said, right, Star Wars Episode 7, Luke Skywalker is going to be played by a younger character, by a younger actor, because we're going to carry his story on, but Mark Hamill's too old. This next person could be the best person in the world, but you're guaranteed a fucking petition, 7 million fucking whiners, and no understanding of whether or not he's any good, or whatever. The Peter Capaldi thing as Doctor Who. What? He's not beautiful. He's a fucking
that was a small blip, and everybody laughed at that. So
yeah, it's a small blip, but you only have to go on the Tumblr. All these fucking David Tennant and fucking Matt Smith fangirls. I mean, the point is, people, rather than actually accept the unknown and say, you know what, give this a chance. What do? No, I'm going to sit here behind my counter and I'm going to write my fucking thing out on blah, 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 blah. It's like fucking Dredd. We've been talking about Dredd on the Facebook group.
Yeah.
It's like we all gave Stallone the benefit of the doubt with that film, didn't we?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's safe to say that 2000 AD had for a number of years that fan page for Judge Dredd, which normally had one of two actors come up for Dredd.
Yeah.
One was Stallone. The other one was three.
No, actually,
Stallone, Schwarzenegger, and Clint Eastwood.
I still remember when they had a little sort of competition in 2000 AD, and they said suggest who you would design a Judge Dredd film poster, and they had everybody from Clint. Well, I don't know if it was Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, it was Clint Eastwood.
That somebody even mentioned Tommy Lee Jones as Judge Dredd.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
So,
and the thing was, all of that's cool, and then you get what you actually want.
That was back then, by the way, when he was probably in his 30s.
In his 40s, wasn't he?
Something like that.
Anyway, but you get what you want. The fanboys get what they want. Oh yes, Sylvester Stallone is fucking Judge Dredd. That's exactly what we want. 2 seconds after it, he's taking his fucking helmet off. That's not the character anymore. No. See, that's...
do you know what? He was actually... And I know I'll probably get shouted at for this, but he was actually more Judge Dredd in Demolition Man than he was in Judge Dredd. To tell you the truth, I thought that, maybe it had some legs. When I watched that and he's jumping out the helicopter and doing his thing, it's like, all right, maybe. But then, of course, you watch Judge Dredd and it's the whole thing of, yeah, don't worry about me. I can't get hit by the guns up there because they've only got a range of 200 yards. Oh, really? Is that right? Yeah. So let me guess. That's if you're firing in a straight line, isn't it? Yeah. When they're standing above you, the bullets just keep travelling, you fucking tit. It's, it doesn't matter about the range because they are going to fucking hit you from there.
The point here was that the fans got what they wanted and then they got what they fucking deserved, which is essentially a film made by an idiot, directed by an idiot, starring an idiot, none of whom understood the fucking character.
No. Look at the city. Lovely.
Lovely, yeah.
Lovely.
But
the set designer's got it.
Yeah, but he's a clone who doesn't know he's a clone. He's a fucking lawman whose catchphrase, I knew you were going to do that. It's like, oh, fuck off. Just read a fucking comic. Just one comic. Just do me the favour and read one comic. Oh, I'm going to have a romantic thing going on with Hershey because we got to have a romantic love interest. No, you fucking don't. No, you don't. So, there you go. You want fan rage? Get fan rage because someone doesn't make it right. Don't get fan rage because you're not getting your own way before the thing's fucking made. Make the decisions. Make predictions. That's all good. That's what we do. But you gotta base that prediction on something. Base it on, I don't like Ben Affleck as a character. I don't like him as an actor. I've never seen anything in him in anything that I've liked. Fine, do that. That's fine. Don't like Zack Snyder as a director. Good, cool. I'm halfway there with you. Sucker Punch nearly stopped me from ever watching a film that he ever makes again. But the fact of the matter is, if you're just standing there going, I don't like it, I don't know why, that's not a fucking excuse. That's just fucking whining. There you go. Fuck fanboys. Seriously, I literally could not believe what I'd read. I spent a whole 20 minutes on Facebook just going, what the fuck has just happened? What really is going on here? And I just couldn't believe it. I still can't believe, I'm still getting over the shock of the fucking 10 minutes into Superman versus Batman being announced and the whole thing being decried as a piece of shit. And yet, now, it's like you can't even get an actor in there.
You know what? When I first heard about Ben Affleck being announced as Batman, it's the whole thing of Ben Affleck. I've seen two things now that are starting to kind of give me a feel of how he's going to look as Batman. And there was a picture, it's from one film, he's dressed all entirely in black and he's got a gun in one hand, he looks like he's just coming up from a crouch, and it's like, okay, I can see that. And then I can't remember who it was, I think I saw it on Facebook, somebody did a mock-up of him wearing the mask, and it's just a facial shot, that's all it is, and it's like, yeah, that works.
Yeah, but that's almost the other way, isn't it? It's like, it looks the part. Can it be the part?
Exactly.
We don't know. Exactly. And it's quite interesting that once the fans get placated with things like Bryan Cranston being Lex Luthor, which is still not confirmed. Like I say, I know Rolling Stone put something out, but let me see it from Warner Brothers, then I'll believe it. But it's like, why is everyone going, oh yeah, that's cool? Because he's bald in Breaking Bad. That much is so fucking clear, because I tell you what,
he's gonna do a nice line in bald villains.
No, but that's the thing. That's the thing. No offense to anyone on the Facebook group, but that's the indicator all the way through, like, the whole internet. Bryan Cranston gonna be Lex Luthor, and everyone's going, yeah. And then then you're seeing every talkback, and I'm not talking about the Facebook group now, but I'm just doing every talkback. So, has he got the acting range? What? What kind of fucking question is that? Hold on. Has he got the acting range, but you're sticking your thumb up and going, yeah? It's because he's bald. He's bald in all the shots of Breaking Bad, and you know he's a bad guy in Breaking Bad. What kind of assessment is that? How can you turn around and go, oh, yeah, he's bald, so he's the best person to play Lex Luthor? Are these the same people who are fucking judging Ben Affleck as
apparently
Batman?
so, yeah.
Because, like, if you watch Breaking Bad, you know he can fucking act. If you've seen him in Drive, you know he can fucking act.
If you see him in Argo.
If you see him in Argo, you know he can fucking act.
Yeah.
Brilliant. There's your indicator right there. Thanks very much. Sign me up. If he becomes Lex Luthor, I'm down with that. But then you get fucking idiots going, oh, he looks really good. Is he capable of being Lex Luthor? Fuck off. Take that fucking opinion and stick it up your arse, because you're a know-nothing fuck cunt. You should be licking the pavement as the bus pulls in. Seriously.
Do you know what? I think if you had said to me about 6-7 years ago that, you know that bloke who plays the dad from Malcolm in the Middle, right? You know he's going to be like one of the most reviled sort of characters in a TV show in about 5 years' time.
Yeah.
I'll be like, what, him?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you pulling my leg?
But there's another brilliant example. It's like, how would you have known? Oh, I know. You've actually got to put him in a fucking situation where you can find out. But, oh no, can you imagine if Breaking Bad had been a book or been a comic or something like that, and then they said, oh, Malcolm in the Middle's dad's going to play Walter White. It'd be like, oh, fucking hell, I must get onto my keyboard very, very quickly and write a very stern letter to the fucking AMC. It's just like, oh, fuck off. I'm just genuinely exasperated at people. I mean, I can understand if you don't like someone, you don't like their performances, and you don't like the way they write or create something. That's fine. But it just seems to be now. People just latch onto one thing. Oh, Ben Affleck was in Daredevil. It was 10 years ago. I don't like it.
Yes. Talking about that, somebody this week went down in my estimation for a comment he made on Twitter.
Yeah.
And that was Will Wheaton.
Oh, yeah.
Because he came out with, Ben Affleck's Batman. I can't wait to see him put the same effort into this that he put into, what was it? It was something, and Daredevil. And it's like, hold on a fucking moment.
Coming from fucking Wesley Crusher.
Exactly, because somebody responded and said something about this from a bloke who's been in one TV show.
Yeah,
as a regular thing, and something else or whatever.
Yeah. He's been in Star Trek Next Generation as Wesley Crusher, and basically been cashing in on that, ironically, for the last 20 years of his life,
especially in things like
Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory.
Yeah. Well done. That comment.
That's just to me, it's a surprising comment coming from him. It's just that there was,
it's a knob jockey fucking comment. He's just
that's not what I expect from him, though.
Oh,
he doesn't. I've never heard him make a thing like that before, and that really disappointed me about him.
Yeah,
because I generally like Will Wheaton, but this is kind of
again, it's the same thing. It's like, if you don't like Ben Affleck as an actor, that's fine, but if you want to just pick up on one film and say, oh, that's the reason why I don't like him, or that's the reason why he's going to be shit in Batman. Fuck off. Really? So let me get this straight. If you've never seen any of the James Bond movies and you watched League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, you'd think that Sean Connery was not a good James Bond.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Well, there you go. That's point proven, isn't it? Well done. High five, Will Wheaton. Are you still fitting into those fucking terrible, stupid fucking jumpers from Star Trek Next Generation from 1987? I mean, seriously, this is annoying me. It is annoying me because it's like...
Really?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell.
Fucking hell. Because it's just so fucking stupid.
It is. And do you know what? We've given these
cunt
nuggets... I love that phrase. That's a phrase by a guy called Laban Baldero. It's the only guy I've ever said. But cunt nuggets.
Cunt nuggets.
We've given these cunt nuggets, I think, enough talking about.
Are you
now.
actually calling time on my fucking news segment that's lasted 45 minutes?
It's just this one rant. That's all it is. It's just bile and shit. Whatever.
It's not bile, because I tell you what. Bile is out there on the internet telling Barack Obama to ban fucking Ben Affleck from being Batman.
Like he hasn't got enough to fucking do as it is.
You know what? Forget all the children and people dying from chemical burns in Syria.
Yeah.
Forget all the terrible things that happen in Egypt. Forget the world's resources going to shit.
And you can shut up about that fucking economy shit.
Yeah.
Get on.
Yeah. Fucking
and ban Ben Affleck.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like, where are your priorities, people? Seriously.
I would really love at this very moment in time to just turn around and speak to Ben Affleck and say, what do you think of all this shit?
Well, if he's got any sense, he's keeping his fucking head down and just ignoring it. Because I tell you what, you know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see Barack Obama walk out onto the grass and out the front of the White House and go, you know what? I've decided I'm actually not doing anything about the economy. I've called Congress back into session. I've cancelled my Camp David trip. I've told the Kremlin to go fuck themselves. I'm not going over to see them. Syria can burn. And you know what? That hole in the ozone layer? Fuck it. We don't care about that. I am going to dedicate the next 4 years of my life to banning Ben Affleck from Batman. How fucking stupid would that be? And how many people would be strangely elated that happened?
70,000 people who've signed that petition.
Oh, God.
I feel as though I'm gaining an ulcer. Let's talk about something else now.
You know what I'm gaining?
Why are you gaining?
The fucking ump. Shall we have a Jim Moon's Profanosaurus?
Let's do it.
Athletics. Sport. A newly minted pastime in which the retarded fill their nappies with shit and then fling it at the internet over some casting news.
Thank you very much for that, Jim.
Fucking hell. Jim summed up there in about 30 seconds what we've just been going on about for 45 minutes. As always, clear and concise and to the point.
Clear and concise and to the point. Well, given that we're already like on an hour and a half or thereabouts, what we're going to do now is the unprecedented thing of actually drawing a close right now. Yes, I'm not editing a fucking single thing. Though Darren's looking at me like I should have done. But I'm not editing a fucking single thing about that rant. These cunt nuggets need to listen to shit like this and know my utter how much I despise these fucking retards. And I know that's a not very PC thing to say. And I apologise to retards everywhere. But I tell you, that is just beyond the pale. What has been going on this weekend is just utter fucking bibbling gibberish. So, we'll be back in part 2, where we will be reviewing Outland. We will also have.
It's only going to be a 5-minute episode, so you know.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yes.
And we'll do that, and we'll have a shitty superhero, and we'll have everyone's feedback. So, for the moment, please turn over and listen to side 2. We'll speak to you soon. Tatty bye. Bye.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me. Down the road, it's where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on.
Get out of the booth, Jack.
No, I like it in here.